Hello everybody, Sam's Trains here and welcome back to the railway once again, and indeed welcome to the first review shot on a professional camera. So I'm not going to dwell on all that though, I'm just going to get straight into it. So what we're looking at today is this lovely locomotive. Now as you can see by the side of the box there, this is our 2224, sorry I said that a bit like a robot, and it's an LMS Fowler 264T, which I suppose stands for tank, please correct me if I'm wrong, and it's a class 4P locomotive, and as you can see the running number there is 2311. Now I've had this loco for many years actually, and I suppose the reason I've never actually shown her before is that she is slightly damaged, and the linkage on this side, which is the left side, actually got jammed about a week after I got this loco. It's a bit suspicious, it could be that the seller on eBay knew that something was wrong or loose. But yeah, lesson learned, always check that all the bolts are tight that hold the linkage, because if they jam, there's a good chance that they might bend and be permanently damaged, as happened in this case. It has happened to me before, but never permanently damaged. But yeah, this one's had to be removed. Now I hope I can find the spares on eBay one day, which means I can probably fix this loco, because she does run nicely, as you'll see. But without any more messing about, let's try and get her out. That was a good rhyme, wasn't it? I should be a poet. Right, oh good, the sleeve's staying in there. Now I haven't got any instructions, so I won't bother getting any more out. But there she is anyway, the LMS. And it's a funny wheel configuration I find, the 264. But I suppose it's quite common with sort of tanks and that sort of thing. And it's quite a grand loco, obviously it's not going to be pulling freight. It's definitely a passenger loco. And sadly, as you'll see there, that is where the linkage is missing. Well, not the linkage. But the valve is missing. So no, this loco could not run in real life obviously, but because of the magic of models she does run. But yeah, let's get her out and I'll take her up onto the white card once again in a minute. But there you go, there's a little look. In fact I'd rather show you this side just because it's more likely what you'd expect. So yeah, I apologise for the damage there. I don't like showing damaged locos. But it is a lovely, lovely loco, and the livery is absolutely gorgeous, and it hasn't got a mark on it, surprisingly. It's in very good condition, but the loco only cost about £40 I think, and it hadn't been run very much, but that was a few years ago now, so I don't know. And yeah, let's get her up onto the card then so you can have a good proper look. Here we go. Right, so there she is, number 2311, and I think when you see her from this side and you forget about the damage, which we'll try and do, she is a very, very lovely loco. Now, it is quite an old model. I believe it was DCC ready, so it can't be that old, but you know, it's certainly a few years old. But it's very, very smart, and it seems to me like it's very well built as well. I've never felt worried that any bits are going to come off or anything like that. But the detail is such that you could still consider it to be a high detailed model, which looks excellent on virtually any layout. And it does quite literally have all the bells and whistles, although not the bells admittedly. The cab is not detailed, but there's such a small viewing opportunity for the inside of the cab anyway. I think it would be a waste of time and money to have put any significant detail in there. Having said that, you have got the glazed windows on the front of the cab, which I suppose would allow the driver to look down along the boiler, and also the sort of grilled windows which allow the driver to look backwards in any situation. As a rivet lover, there is plenty of rivets on this loco, not everywhere, but obviously it's going to match the loco in real life. But most obviously you've got plenty around the boiler, the front of the boiler at least, and around the cylinders, and around the buffer beam, and certainly on the roof of the cab and either side of the door. Evidently you're going to have sprung buffers, and these are sort of very large buffers. There you go, that one's sprung. It's a bit dodgy, that one is, but the other one's alright. And they are sprung on both sides, unlike some of the Hornby ones that we've seen of late, which are slightly sprung on the front and not sprung at all on the back, which is a bit strange. You've also got the air intake, let's say, from on the roof of the cab, which I'll just show you here, which does open and shut. There you go, only a little bit, and you know, if you're one of those who likes realism, I suppose that's a feature that will make you happy. But yeah, there's lots of separately fitted pieces as well. Not as many as you'd expect from a high detailed model, but as I said at the start, it is quite an old loco. But you have got the brass whistle and valves there, just in front of the cab there. And on the other side of the boiler, now you're now seeing the other side of the loco itself, you have got another sort of metal piece, which I won't pretend to know what it is, but for the sake of the review it is separately fitted. And of course you've got small amounts of handrails there, although it doesn't go all the way down the boiler, obviously, because you've there got the tanks on the side, because of course this is a tank engine and doesn't have a tender. And for quite a big locomotive, I think that makes this one quite special. I suppose this is one of the bigger tank engines you'll get at a guess. Again, I don't know very much about locos, so that is a guess, but looking at it, you would guess that it is a very powerful loco. So quite short journeys, I suppose. Now on the front buffer beam you can see there's a slight bit of damage, which again was partially done before I got her, but it did come off the rest of the way. In my care, I'm disgraced to say, but that's been glued on again now, and unless you're looking at it super close up like you are now, it's not all that noticeable, which is jolly good. And you've also got the traditional coupling hook there on the front, very small scale, and of course no front coupling, though you could add one if you decided to. This loco does actually feature a very large coal bunker as well. Of course it's not going to hold anywhere near the amount of coal that a tender might hold, but there is quite a lot of coal in there, as you can see, and the loco is quite a lot longer for it. And yeah, that's the coal itself is quite detailed, as you can see there. It's very fine scaled, it's not too glossy, which you'll know I'm quite pleased about, because I don't like it when the coal's all glossy. It's not a big problem, but I'd rather it wasn't. And I think that's covered just about all of it, and you've probably seen more than I've talked about with these new shots, and fingers crossed the camera will have done a good job, because it's about time I wasn't having to fiddle with the camera for hours to make it look decent. But yeah, I'll try and get some LMS coaches together then. I'll get her on the layout. She is DCC fitted. I did mention earlier her being DCC ready, but she's since been fitted by me. So that's cool. Well, I think we'll do that now. Right, see you in a minute. So there she is on the line anyway, looking very cool. I've got the set of, let's see how many we've got. We've got 5 LMS coaches there. It's a bit of a mishmash. We've got a brake coach at each end, and I'm going to see how she couples up to them. Right, let's give it a go then, real gently. Hopefully she'll be coming into the shot about now, and eventually into focus when she gets back where the coaches are. Now she has got one of those very slim couplings, which I know a lot of people like, but I'm not a huge fan of them. But I'm hoping very much that she'll cope with that quite nicely. So let's give her a go, and let's see what happens. Give her about half speed. Now she's normally been quite a good puller for me in the past. As you can see there, everything's working well. So we'll follow her around now and have a good look, and we'll see how things go. And she's running very nicely actually. She's not been out of the box for a good few months. It's just so quiet though, isn't it? It's just deadly silent in here. I mean, maybe I am just used to running triang stock, but goodness, it just creeps round. And as I mentioned earlier, she's not brand new. Not that I've heard many brand new locos sound this good either. Well, sound this quiet, I should say. Well, there we go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed seeing her. That's the Fowler 4P, in reasonably good condition, despite, you know, what we mentioned earlier. But yeah, I'm pleased with the way she's run anyway, and she certainly doesn't look bad at all when she's going. Again, if you'd like to see more photos or would just like to get involved, please feel free to visit the Facebook page at facebook.com/samstrains. And if not, just give the video a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you really liked it. And do also let me know if you like the camera. Obviously I'm still getting used to it, but I'm hoping I've managed to get some reasonable good shots today. I won't know until I've edited it, of course, but fingers crossed. Anyway, have a very nice day, everybody. I'll see you next time, and thank you very much for watching. See you all soon.